far, the biggest leverage point that you have in your business is marketing. Even a 10% increase can have exponential returns on your revenue. So in today's episode, we're going to cover the 5 biggest marketing mistakes that I see business owners make, and more importantly, how can you avoid them? We Do the Work is dedicated to those who believe in the tenacious pursuit of their dreams. In a world where we aim to turn ceilings into floors, we dive deep into the essence of health, wealth, and relationships, uncovering that true fulfillment lies not in our achievements, but in the journey of us doing the work. Before we dive into the mistakes, we have to understand one thing. While marketing is a lever that you can pull in your business, one thing has to be stated. Your service and your product must be top notch. You can't outmarket a bad product or service. You can't outmarket bad martial arts classes or agency services. You can't outmarket bad customer service. In fact, great marketing will ruin a bad business. So the assumption here is that you already have a great business because you simply just can't turn a bad business into a great experience and have your marketing help you grow it. One of the best questions that you can ask yourself is, why should prospects choose me over anybody else that offers this same product or service? It should be because you are world class. You are the absolute best at what you do. And I want to make sure that you understand that marketing isn't going to solve a problem that is inside of your business, such as customer service or not having great systems. The businesses that sign up the most customers, the businesses that increase their revenue and scale very, very quickly, it's because they have a phenomenal service. Unfortunately, what most businesses aren't doing is consistently utilizing a multitude of marketing activities. And this can really be highlighted by a super fun story that I heard from Dan Kennedy, and it's about fishing. Well, Chris, what can fishing teach me about marketing? One year on vacation, there was a tourist, and he was relaxing at the beach, and he's watching the waves crash in, and all of a sudden, a local pickup truck pulled in. Guy got out. You could tell he was a local. He went to the bed of the truck, opened the truck. He grabbed one fishing pole. He grabbed another fishing pole. He grabbed another fishing pole. He ended up grabbing 12 fishing poles. The tourist was sitting there watching him do this, kind of scratching his head. The local walks down to the beach, takes a fishing pole, casts it out, sets it in the sand, does that once, does that twice, does that 12 times. The tourist had to figure out, why was he setting 12 lines out in the ocean? So he went to the local and he asked. And the local said, well, if I only cast 1 line or 2 lines, they might not catch. But if I cast 12 lines, never a time all 12 are going to catch a fish, but you can guarantee that multiple lines will catch a fish. And when I have extra fish left over, not only can I feed my family, but I can also take it to the market and sell for money. And this local really showcased one of the biggest problems that businesses have in terms of their marketing, and that's too few lines cast in the ocean. So that is mistake number 1. Only having one marketing strategy to rely on. The issue with this, and we saw this especially during COVID, is a lot of businesses rely on word of mouth and referrals. Well, when COVID happened, if you owned a martial arts school, your school got shut down. Referrals weren't happening anymore. And what you don't want to do is put all of your eggs in one basket with your marketing strategies. You need to make sure you have multiple marketing strategies, lines out in the ocean. Part of this mistake that I often see business owners make is also thinking that digital marketing is going to solve all of their marketing problems. And as somebody that owns an agency that absolutely believes in Facebook ads and Google ads, it can't be your only marketing strategy that, hey, we're running Facebook ads this month, or hey, we're going to increase the budget on Google, and that's the only thing that you do. So marketing mistake number one is having too few lines cast in the ocean. Make sure that's not you. And what I would do is I would look back on this current month and I would ask yourself, how many different marketing strategies did we implement? Did we do some form of a referral contest or a referral incentive? Did we have a budget on Facebook ads and Google ads? Did we maybe do direct mail? There are multiple things you can be doing. I'm not saying you should try to do all of them because you're going to set yourself up for failure, but you can't just rely on one. Mistake number two that I see business owners make all the time is not tracking their stats. I always say math is the path. You should be making data-driven decisions. And unfortunately, for most people, in terms of their marketing, they are not tracking their traffic stats. So one of the ways you can think about this is if you were stranded on an island and you could only get a weekly report at the end of the week, one page, and that one page has statistics on it, and you're not going to get any context at all. You're just going to get the KPIs, the stats of the company, and you have to send a message back on how you want them to move forward in the next week. What statistics would you want on that sheet? In terms of your traffic stats and your marketing stats, you should absolutely know how many leads came in, how many appointments were booked, how many of those appointments actually showed up, how many people did we close, and you're going to want to know the percentage of one from the other. So what was the percentage of leads that booked an appointment? What was the percentage of appointments that actually showed? And what was the percentage of shows that we actually closed? You should also be aware of what your cost per lead is, how much each lead is costing you, as well as your cost of acquisition, which is how much does it cost for you to get a new customer. When you know those numbers, you can make better data-driven decisions, such as, do we need to increase our budget? Do we need to tweak our confirmation sequence? Do we maybe need to listen to some of the phone calls when whoever is booking the calls on the phone at my business is making them because maybe there's an issue with the frame or the script that they are using? Math is the path. You can only make data-driven decisions if you have access to that data. My recommendation is to keep it simple. Yes, you probably have a CRM that you can pull this data from, but on a day-to-day basis, I would be tracking this in something like a Google spreadsheet. Mistake number 3 to avoid with your marketing is not putting out content. Look, social media isn't going anywhere. Video isn't going anywhere. If you don't put out content, you're not going to get a click. If you don't get a click, you're not going to get a lead. If you don't get a lead, you're not going to get an appointment. If you don't get an appointment, you're not going to get a show. And if you don't get a show, you're not going to be able to close them. It all starts with putting out content. This is especially important if you are in a saturated market, or what we like to call a red ocean. Almost everybody is running paid ads, whether that's on Facebook or Google or TikTok or YouTube. And one of the best ways that you can separate yourself, that you can look different, is by leveraging video content just like this video that you are watching now. Most business owners aren't being consistent with the content that they are putting out. And when you do put out consistent content, it is going to help you become an authority and an expert in your space. It will help you lower the cost of acquisition. It's going to be a consistent touch point so that when somebody is ready to purchase services, they purchase from you, because every single touch point, from an email to a video to a text message to an ad, is helping you stay in what I like to call your prospect's mental Rolodex. You have to be putting out content consistently. I want to give you a very easy tip that you can implement, especially if you have an Instagram account. One of the things that we like to do is every time we get a new follower, we send a DM, and it's one sentence. Don't try to make it fancier than this. And you simply ask, are you here for the content, or are you interested in whatever it is that you sell? So if you're a martial arts school, are you here for the content, or are you interested in checking out some of our classes? One sentence with a question mark, and it's a great way to start a conversation and get more opens in your pipeline. Sales is simply a numbers game. And in its most simplistic form, business is all about relationships. Well, how do you build a relationship? You have to communicate. So try the setup of, are you here for the content, or are you here for whatever the service is, the next time you get an Instagram follower. Mistake number 4 to avoid in your marketing is not having a consistent follow-up process. I truly believe that if every business spent just 1 hour, 60 minutes a day on lead follow-up, they would no longer have a calendar booking issue. The problem is most businesses aren't doing that. What happens is you get a lead. If you're a good business, you're calling that lead immediately within 5 minutes. Not many businesses do that, but money loves speed. You do want to have speed to lead in this game. Because if a prospect is checking your business out, do you think you're the only business they opted into? Of course not. So you want to make sure that you get the first at bat by responding immediately. And most businesses are okay at that. But if the lead doesn't respond, the lead goes into the black hole of leads that never get reached out to again. 1 hour a day, time block it into the schedule that you are doing consistent follow-up. Start with your warmest leads, the low-hanging fruit, and then go backwards. Yes, you should be leveraging automations with emails and text messages, but you also have to pick up the phone. You want to have the trifecta of email, text, and phone call, and continue calling them until they ask you to stop. The fortune is in the follow-up. If you show me your calendar and your bank account, I will show you your priorities. So if you are having trouble booking sales calls or sales appointments, I'm going to ask you, well, how much time a day are you spending to lead follow-up? That brings us to the 5th mistake to avoid, which is not having a sales conversion process. Let me keep it real here for a second. If you're getting leads, if you're getting booked appointments, if they're showing up, but they are not converting, you either have a sales process issue or you have an issue with the service that you are offering. You need to make sure that you have a replicable sales conversion process that, whether it's you doing it or somebody else does it, can be repeated over and over again. Oftentimes, businesses think they have a marketing problem when in reality, it's a sales conversion process that is very weak. If you are a martial arts school and you are not converting at least 80% of the appointments that show up, you need to audit your sales conversion process as well as whatever the process of the student taking the class or introductory lesson looks like. So those are the 5 big marketing mistakes that you don't want to make in your business. Let's get some more lines out in the ocean. Make sure we're tracking our stats with a spreadsheet. Create killer content just like this video. Follow up consistently every day, a minimum of 1 hour a day, and build a sales process that actually converts. If you want to learn about the most impactful books that I ever read, check out our episode called The Top 5 Books Every Entrepreneur Should Read. I'll see you there.